Hi, here's Chris with a new quick tip video for Blender. Today I show you how to create such a nice leather wrap in only some minutes. It's very fast and easy and dirty, but it looks nice. So let's see how this works. Okay, here we have the sword. This is how it looks like. Here solid no look depth, and you see this is my nice sword. So let's see how we can make a wrap around this grip here. So the first we will look how this grip is look like, how the mesh is look like. So it's basically a cylinder, and what I do now is I will take the meshes or the faces here and we'll make a dirty or fast wrap. So this works in this way. You are going here into the face selection mode, and then wait, I will shortcut. So okay, so you can see my keyboard here, my key shortcuts. So okay, you go here and you select all this loops here. Okay, I do it manually. You can do it by selecting the edges and then the rings here. So I've selected the rings here, and what I do now is I will duplicate them. To do this, I use a shortcut. You can do it by using the menu, but I do it by a shortcut. It's Shift D and you duplicate them. But you don't move them somewhere, you keep them at the position, so you press right mouse button and the duplication, the copy is now here. So the problem is the copy is inside my mesh. So I want to have a separate mesh of the copy. So what I do is I press P to separate my selection. So now the selection is separated, but I'm still inside my grip in my mesh. So I press top, and now I'm outside the grip, and now I can click here on my new copy here on the grip and can use it. So I will give it a new name here. In my object information, it's sword leather or grip leather. Great. So the next what I do now is I will give it a short material. To do this, here it is, it's selected. At the moment it's still the gold. So what I do now, I will create a new material based on my gold, and I will tell it or say it's leather. So the name is now leather, and I will change the color, let's say here, and I will reduce the metallic effect and give it more roughness, like 0.8 for example. Now it looks a bit like leather. Okay, so great. Now we are working here still or completely in the leather of the object in this one. So I go back to the isolate mode. To do this, you go on your numpad and can press the divide button here, the divide sign, to go into the isolate mode. Great. Now I go into the edit mode and I will go to edges and will dissolve the edges, because I will make a small trick to do this wrap. So I take all these edges here and delete and dissolve them. So now you have a new cylinder back, but the advantage is you have the right shape for your grip later. So the next is the actual trick to do our short wrap. I will press or use the knife tool here, the knife tool. With the knife tool you can cut through an object. The problem is you cut just the faces you see. So with escape you can interrupt this mode, and we do it again, but this time we press on knife and then we press Z. So wait, I press K and then Z. Interesting is maybe for you to know, if you are using the knife tool and you want to cut, all works fine, but you cannot cut through. This is a small bug maybe in 2.8 still at the moment. So if you use the menu and you want to cut through the mesh, you can't, because always you are pressing Z, you go into this view mode. So this is maybe a bug. So better is to use the shortcut. You press K for cut, and then you see my mouse pointer changed. Now you press Z to use the Z or to cut through the object. And now, after you have pressed K and pressed Z, you are now able to see a small manual here. So this is a problem at the moment in the 2.8 version 2, but yeah, it's just for your information. I think it will be fixed in the final version, but at the moment it's a bit buggy. So not a problem for us. We press K and then that, and now we see all the options. And with that, you are able to cut through this object, completely through. So great. And now I am cutting here some leather bands, a bit like this here, okay? And we see it's cutting through, and press enter. Now we have some nice leather bands, but not really. So what we do now, we have the advantage, the edges are already selected, and I will now bevel them. Right mouse button and bevel edges, and now you can bevel them a bit like this, for example, and delete them. I will delete the faces, and what we now see, we have some bands, you know, it looks a bit like bands, like a wrap. So I go back to my normal scene, and we see it looks already very nice, and I click on this new object here on my leather and go to the modifiers tab here, this one, yeah. And now I go and put, first we delete the bevel, because Blender has used this object, as you remember, and this object has a bevel. And when you are separating something, the modifiers will be separated too. So this is good sometimes, but in our case not. So I've deleted my bevel modifier and I go to solidify. Then now we have a solid object. I go back to my to my solid, and you see I have a solid object, and the offset can be changed to 1, and we can now create 0 for any reason, even thickness for any reason. Something is a bit wrong. I don't know why. I know. Okay, right. I know. It's because of our cylinder. So great. So we use our solidifier to make it thick, you know, to give it a weight. So a white. I go back to the look tab so we can see it better. So I can make it a bit thicker, okay. And we see we have a nice object, and then we go and put a subdivision surface modifier on it, maybe 2. It looks already not bad. To make it a bit harder, you go and put a bevel modifier before the subdivision surface modifier. I will close here. This is the one, and I put it one step up. So the advantage is you will get a bit harder here edges. To make them more harder for the subdivision, you go and make 2 elements, an angle, you know. Okay, great. So what we have done is we have made them solid, then we have made the bevel, and then we have made a subdivision here to see some nice leather bands. So okay. So what our leather bands are not doing is, this is actually our grip, and it have a special shape. So you see it here. So our bands have to be on the shape. This is very easy. You go to the bands and add a new modifier, and this time you take shrink wrap. It's so great, this modifier. The shrink wrap is red at the moment because you need a target. So the leather will now be fixed or stitched or attached to the surface. First, but before we do it, we first move the shrink wrap up so before all the other modifiers, because we want to shrink or we want to attach this object first on the grip and then use all the others. Okay, great. So I click here on the object picker and take my grip, and suddenly it's attaching directly to our grip, and we have a very nice grip or very nice leather wrap. Okay, this is a very fast and dirty way. So what we now can do is we can change maybe to project. It's a bit, and now you have to click negative. It's a bit better because it uses the x and epsilon angles a bit better, like the surface for this case. So I use it the most time when I'm doing this here. So, and now we make solidify maybe a bit thinner, and now we see a very nice object. I go to Eevee and we go and see. Come on, it needs some seconds. Wait. Oh. Here it is. Okay, here we see it. Very nice. And if you want it more interesting, you can move these edges a bit. I go back to the edges mode, select, wait, I go to here to move, select this here, the upper edge here, you see, the upper edge, to make it more interesting. And now we make it bigger, but not in this way. We do it by using here the individual origin. So when I move it, you see what happens? This happens. Yeah, I can use this one, or oh no, I will do the base edges. Sorry for it, for this here, the base. So this is the lower edges. So this is okay. Now I make it bigger, and I move them with G and Z down. So what I've done is, maybe a bigger. Now they are a bit higher, a bit better. So, and we can go now to solidify and make them a bit thicker. No, the point is this shrink wrap is wrapping all the elements or sticking all the elements to our grip. This is not a very big problem because you can control it, the shrink wrap modifier, by using a vertex group. This group is controlling which one is how far or how much it sticks to this object. So what I do now is I go here into the edit mode and go to the data block. Then I make a new group for my vertices and say this is for my shrink wrap. Okay. At the moment there is no vertices in this group. You have to know this if you never used it. This is just a name and just an empty group. So you have to assign your selection to it. So what I do is I say my selected elements here have to be 50% used of our shrink wrap modifier at the moment. So I assign them. That's it, okay? And when I go back and say shrink wrap, you see, now it's in this way. So it's not ready yet. So I go back to my edit mode and invert my selection. Okay, so I will take maybe just my upper, wait, I will go to the, switch okay, and now I will take the upper edges to control another weight value for them. So, okay, sorry. And now this here, this edges have to have a value of 1. So they stick completely. So we already see it here and this way. So you see it works very nice. And I go back to the main view, and now I go to here and click my modifiers on, and now we see it works not so bad. Okay, so okay, now I invert them maybe, and you can control this this edges here. Yeah, so you can control the vertices. You don't have to always select them and then use and go to the data block. You can just move to the vertex mode and click one of those here. In this case, this is wrong. No, wait, I must deselect this. Okay, so you are clicking one of the vertices, and we see now a vertex weight value. This is only happening if you click one and activate one of the vertices. So all these vertices are selected, but this one, the active one, here you see the value of it. And we'll see a preview of our object. What I've done now is I've clicked on solidify and here on this edit cage, and now we see how it looks like in the final mesh. And we see this is not enough, or it's not sticking enough to the object. So now we do the following. We change it here by using this value. You see, when I move it left to right, it goes a bit down, and I do it in this way, and see it's 0710. And I want to have it to my all vertices. So I go here to this button and say copy. And now all the values are taken and used for all the others. So what I have to do is here, maybe this, I forgot to make those here. And I will make them 2. So in this way you can control it a bit. Copy. And the same can be done here. A bit down. Copy. And again you can do it here. To select the ring, to select the loop, you just click here on the vertex and then on this edge and Shift Alt, and you can select all the loop. So great, I go down and copy. That's good. And maybe here and here and a bit down. Oh, wait, down, copy. Okay, it looks not bad. You can tweak it a bit. Now you see we have a very nice looking wrap around our sword. That's it. More, not more. You are just here, and you can see it's very easy to do this. I have talked a lot, but if you don't talk and you make it later by yourself, it's very fast. It's some minutes and it's done. Great, that's it. Thank you very much. I hope you liked it, and you subscribe to my YouTube channel or visit me on my Gumroad shop. Bye bye.